Welcome to the Big Movement Podcast. If you're ready to create results and make huge strides in your business, finances, personal development, and health, then you're in the right place. Pushing past excuses and powering through procrastination can be a challenge alone. Here, you'll get the support, tools, and knowledge you need to get to the level you desire in your business and life. Let's get started with your host, Byron Ingram.
And welcome to another episode of the podcast here. Today, we're going to talk about, are you passionate about your business? And this is the third in a series of the things that every entrepreneur should be doing before they determine if they want to go into a business. So in the previous episode, which you can find in the show notes for this, in episodes 142 and 145, where we discuss of what does your customer want to buy and is there a market demand for it. Passion is the third thing in this part of this process that you really need to take a look at. And you might be wondering, well, everyone says I should be solving a problem. That is true. And well, there has to be enough people who are interested in it. That is also true. However, it is equally as important to understand if you're passionate about it or not. I want you to close your eyes for a moment, and please don't do it if you're driving, because that would be a little awkward if you're driving and trying to do a little imagination. But if you're stationary, like in a parking lot or at your computer and you're listening to this, I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine the time that you're in a store, in a shopping mall, wherever, and you met someone who was super enthusiastic about their job. You could just feel the energy radiating from them. They come up to you like, hey, how are you? And you're like, oh, I'm so awesome. And they love it because they're enjoying what they're doing. And you find that you just love connecting with them, and you're buying a whole bunch of stuff and you feel excited about it. Now hold on to that thought. And now let's flip it around. You go to a different memory. Now imagine that time when you were dealing with that salesperson that just looked like they didn't want to be there, and they didn't want you there either because you were interrupting their misery. How did you feel? Did you feel that you wanted to go up to that person, like, excuse me, can you help me with this? And they would give it look like no, and insert explicative to get the heck out of there, because that's what they're really thinking. Did you really want to do business there? Probably not. I know the times I've walked to that person in some place, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to go see someone else, or I'm going to go to another store. That's an instance where someone probably didn't have passion for what they're doing. This is why passion is so critical, because if we don't love what we're doing, it's not a matter of just how we are feeling. It's how that feeling comes across to our audience, to our customers. And it doesn't help the bottom line. So I want you to think about that. If you're not passionate about something, why would you do it? Because too many times people do it for the money. Say, but it's great money. Look at the number of people that wake up on a Monday morning and they're like, crap, it's Monday. And they're miserable all day long. The only good thing that happens their week is Friday at 5 o'clock, because then they get to go to happy hour and tend to forget about their misery for at least 48 hours. We're just like, oh crap, I got to go back. That's not the way to be in business. You want to be excited where it doesn't matter if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You're like, yes, it's business time. I get to help somebody today. That's the way you want to look at it. Now, when it comes to following our passions, sometimes this is going to involve us leaving our comfort zone. And you might be thinking, but I'm following my passion. Well, think about this for a moment. If you went to school because people told you, well, you'll get a good paying job if you do this. Oh, it's respected. And you said, okay. And it didn't matter if you didn't like it or not. That became your new reality. So to suddenly step outside of it, that's entering a new world where people are like, oh, this is different. Think about it. How many times someone said to you, oh, but you might fail. You could be scared. Like, what if I succeed? This is why leaving that comfort zone can be scary, because you're going to leave behind so many things where you know that if you do X, Y, and Z things a certain amount of times each and every day, you will be successful, versus over here, you have to write the playbook because you're doing something different. And like, oh, well, what do I do every single day? I could do these things, but then you don't know the result. So that's embracing uncertainty. And for some people, they have a high need of certainty that the notion of doing something that involves the unknown scares the living crap out of them, where they can crap diamonds because of what's happening. So you have to look at it as, what can you do that you can embrace and go, I'm excited about this. And it doesn't scare you, because this is part of doing what you're passionate about. You have to step into the unknown, because you're doing something many times is different than what you're doing before. So it's so critical. And this is why you must carefully consider what you want to pursue in business. And here's a little reason why. Because we're passionate about so many things, but for one thing, not everything that you're passionate about you're going to be able to make money with. Like, oh, I love doing that. Good luck making money at it. So let's say that you enjoy underwater basket weaving, and I'm sure there's going to be one person out there who does it. But as interesting as it might sound, you might be thinking this is fun, making a living at it might be a little more of a challenge. So you have to think about it from that perspective. But here's the bigger picture when it comes about carefully considering what you're passionate about and going to business. You absolutely must be just as happy as you are today as you are 5 years from now. Because building a business, it takes time, where you're building upon things brick by brick by brick. And before you know it, bam, you have that empire. But if you're miserable, 5 years from now, 3,000 plus days into it, let's say that's closer to 10 years when you think about it, but let's say it's 1,500, 3,000, whatever days you want to look at. But if you are not excited about it at that point, you need to be looking for things that you will be excited about, because it's a journey. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Because the sprints in life, that's when people are looking for the get rich. Like, oh, I just want to do this to make some really fast money right now. But then they're not happy because they're in that constant grind. Instead of you waking up every single morning totally passionate about what you're doing because you're impacting lives. This is what makes a difference. And here's the other thing that you need to look at when it comes to deciding upon what you're passionate about. Because there's some things we might be passionate about as long as we do it on our terms and it still falls into that hobby category. But the moment we put it into a professional sense, it's like, oh, it's no longer exciting. This is like work. And I lose track of how many times people, they start off on that wrong foot. They think, I love doing this. Well, they love doing it when it's convenient. But to do it day in and day out, suddenly it goes from being exciting and fun and interesting to pure monotonous boredom. Because imagine if let's say you had to do quilting, but you did it because you love creating one for like a birthday here and there. You didn't do all the time, but then imagine if you had to do it 12 hours a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week. Would you be just as excited? Maybe, maybe not. That's why it's so critical to look at is, would you be just as excited doing this for people to pay you for it day in and day out as you get to do it for free when it's just a hobby? So when you put all these things together in terms of examining if you're passionate, this is going to help you decide, should you pursue this endeavor or should you move on to something else? So it's very vital that you understand this principle. So next week, what we're really going to be talking about is, it's that last checkbox you need to fill. And this is, are you truly able to make money with it to grow and scale? Because while other things like, is there enough market for it? Will people buy it? We have to look at is, can we scale it? Because the whole purpose of going into business is you might have to do everything yourself in the beginning, but to be able to work yourself out of that job. So then you're able to live life on a reason, because then you are the business owner, not the operator. Because an operator just means you have another job, and well, probably hours are worse than if you're working for somebody else. So you want to know how to go about it. So we're going to dive in a little bit deeper on how you can be able to see if growth and scale is possible in a business, so you can be able to have that entrepreneurial life that you have been dreaming of, and you can make it a reality. So do me a huge favor. If you love this episode and you love the other ones, go ahead and hit that like button and share this out on social media, because there's someone out there today, I promise you, who needs to hear this message.
Thanks for listening to the Big Movement Podcast today. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Now that you've surely been inspired to take your entrepreneurial career and business to the next level, you can stop by the website and get more. And if you're ready to boost your business brand, be sure to grab your free report, 7 Easy Steps to Build Your Brand Today.